Have you ever had that feeling of being trapped, and no matter how much you try, the same patterns keep repeating? The same physical pains, the same financial struggles, the same toxic relationships. A feeling that there's something more, something invisible, pulling you back to square one? What if I told you that these imprisonments aren't the result of chance or a cruel fate? What if they're actually echoes of a distorted melody that you're unconsciously continuing to play? What if your ailments and problems aren't just problems, but symptoms of a much deeper imbalance? A vibrational imbalance. We live in a universe where nothing is really as solid as it seems. Everything is energy. Everything vibrates. And the ancient wisdom of Thoth, the messenger of the gods, whispers across the ages an immutable truth. What's visible is a reflection of the invisible. This means that your external reality, made up of your health, your finances, your relationships, is just a mirror of the frequencies you're emitting from within. This isn't mysticism. It's physics. It's alchemy. It's the science of transmuting your own essence. But how did we get to this state of disharmony? How did our internal melody become out of tune? The answer, my friends, starts much earlier than we think. It starts in the very forge of our own existence, in the moment our energetic field absorbed its first song, its first programming. Get ready, because today we're going to delve into the depths of this ancient wisdom. We'll uncover how this initial programming shaped who you are, how the structural beliefs from your childhood keep you stuck in a repeating cycle, and most importantly, how you can finally orchestrate a new symphony for your life, allowing true vibrational healing. The time, as in all great alchemical works, is now. To understand the depth of our vibrational melody, we need to go back. Not to the moment we opened our eyes to the world, but even before that, to the primordial sanctuary, the mother's womb. Picture for a moment that tiny, forming creature, still without a defined form, but already a perfect receptacle. A blank scroll, ready to receive its first inscriptions. And what does it absorb? Your mental and emotional body starts to be formed by your mother's emotions, thoughts, joys, fears, and uncertainties. The energetic environment that surrounds you becomes your first teacher, your first programmer. It's as if each cell, each fiber of that tiny body, is tuned to a supersensitive antenna, capturing and recording every nuance of your mother's emotional universe. If your mother lives in constant stress, you assimilate that frequency. If she radiates peace, that's what you receive. It's a process of energetic osmosis. There's no filter, no judgment, just pure absorption. This forms, my friends, what I call the first code, or the fundamental vibrational imprint. This fundamental vibrational imprint is a kind of energetic stamp, an invisible signature that precedes consciousness. Think of it as your initial operating system. It's installed before you even have the ability to reason, question, or discern. And precisely because it's so elemental, it becomes the silent foundation for many of the patterns you manifest later in life. You may have been born into an environment of scarcity, and even as an adult, with every opportunity, you struggle to achieve abundance. Or you may have grown up in a home filled with anxiety, and years later find yourself trapped in cycles of worry, even when there's no apparent cause. This isn't weakness or a lack of effort. It's the resonance of that first code, that vibrational imprint that echoes from your earliest past. Thoth, in his wisdom, teaches us that creation occurs through the word, through frequency. And even before we have a voice to speak, we're already being shaped by the environment we're growing in. This is the basis for why certain predispositions or sensitivities seem innate. In reality, they're traces of these vibrational imprints. Understand this, and you take the first step toward true inner alchemy. It's a recognition that we're not mere products of chance, but complex compositions, whose first notes were played on a much older stage than our conscious memory can reach. And it's from that understanding that we can begin to rewrite our score, fine-tuning every string of our existence. If conception was the moment of the first inscription in our energetic, mental, and emotional scroll, childhood, especially the first 7 years, is when that scroll becomes a fertile field for what I call the childhood hypnosis. Modern science, echoing Hermetic wisdom, reveals that during this phase, children predominantly operate in slower brain waves, theta waves. This is the same state we experience in deep meditation or under hypnosis. In other words, children are in a state of hypersuggestibility, absorbing information from their environment without a filter. Every word, every gesture, every expression of emotion from the adults around them, parents, caregivers, professors, is absorbed as absolute truth. Phrases like, "You're too sensitive," "Boys don't cry," "Women need to be strong," "Money doesn't grow on trees," "The world is dangerous," uttered with the best of intentions or even carelessly, become seeds planted in the fertile soil of the child's subconscious. Over time, these seeds germinate and solidify into what we call structural beliefs about reality. They become the invisible architecture of your psyche. These beliefs can be compared to software running in the background of your mind. You may not see it, but it sets the rules of the game. It decides what's possible and what's not. It shapes your perceptions, your reactions, and your choices long before logic or conscious awareness come into play. And the most perverse thing is that, in adulthood, when we repeatedly face the same challenges and pitfalls, we rarely look toward these fundamental beliefs. We blame luck, fate, or other people. But the truth is that we're operating with a set of instructions that's outdated, written by a vulnerable, completely impressionable version of ourselves, under the influence of those around us. That's why the pattern of self-sabotage persists, the fear of success paralyzes us, or sickness insists on returning. It's not a curse. It's a faithful reflection of your most deep-rooted beliefs. If you believe, deep down, that you're not worthy of prosperity, the universe, in its impartiality, simply reflects that frequency back to you. Hermes Trismegistus left us the maxim of the Kybalion, as above, so below, as within, so without. And this applies perfectly to our beliefs. What's solidified in your subconscious inevitably shows up in your external reality. But do not despair. Recognition is the first step toward transmutation. If we understand how we were programmed, we have a map for reprogramming. If we identify the dissonant melody, we can begin composing a new, harmonious, and powerful one. This is the great alchemical work of self-knowledge. Now, with knowledge of the initial programming and structural beliefs, we come to one of the most powerful and often misunderstood principles of the universe: the law of attraction. Forget for a moment the simplistic view that the law of attraction responds only to your conscious desires, to those affirmations you repeat in front of the mirror. Oh, if it were that easy! The universe, in its infinite intelligence, doesn't respond to your superficial wants. It responds to your vibratory address. In fact, we've already explained this in a previous video, which you can watch at the end of this explanation. Picture this in terms of resonance. If you have two tuning forks tuned to the same note and you strike one, the other, even without touching it, starts to vibrate. This is resonance. The same applies to the vibrational field. Our thoughts, emotions, and, most importantly, our deep beliefs, installed in childhood, emit a constant frequency. That frequency is what truly attracts. That's why you may find yourself in vicious cycles, attracting the same toxic people, financial struggles, or disappointments. This isn't bad luck. It's the principle of correspondence at work, where your internal vibration resonates with those experiences. You're literally vibrating at the same frequency as what you don't want, but which, unconsciously, you believe you deserve or consider inevitable. And here, alchemy brings us an inconvenient yet liberating truth about disease. Disease, my friends, is not a biological coincidence. It's the physical manifestation of a specific vibrational frequency, a persistent energetic imbalance. Consider chronic negativity, resentment you've held for years, guilt that eats away at you, persistent fear of the future, or suppressed rage. Each of these emotions generates a unique energetic signature. When these negative frequencies linger, they create a density within your energetic field. Over time, that density condenses and materializes. And guess what? It shows up in your physical body. That's why Hermetic wisdom states that everything is vibration. There's no separation between mind, emotions, and body. They are simply different manifestations of the same energy. A chronic headache may be a manifestation of obsessive thoughts. Digestive issues may be related to difficulty digesting emotions. The body is a map, a decoder of your internal frequencies. And it's precisely here that alchemy becomes a powerful tool. If you understand that disease isn't a punishment but a signal, a vibrational correspondence, then the key to healing lies not just in treating the symptom, but in transmuting the frequency that gave rise to it. We're not talking about pure and simple positive thinking without understanding how it really works. We're talking about a deep understanding of how you, through your programming and beliefs, are emitting a frequency that attracts your reality. And the first step toward changing that reality is raising your own central vibration. It's fine-tuning your instrument so it can play a symphony of health, abundance, and joy. If we understand that our reality is a reflection of our most profound programming and beliefs, the good news is that alchemy offers us a map for transformation. It's not a quick path, but a true path. And it unfolds through 4 subtle but powerful portals towards self-healing. While we're on this subject, if you're looking for quick results, this content might not be for you. But let's continue. Remember the Hermetic maxim, all is mental, the universe is mental. But the mind does not operate in a vacuum. It is intrinsically connected to our physical vehicle and our interaction with the world. Therefore, to transmute your vibration, we must act on multiple fronts. The first portal is our most visible and immediate laboratory, the physical body. Often, we neglect the body's importance, treating it as a machine separate from our spiritual essence. But Thoth already warned us, the body is the most immediate manifestation of the energetic field. If the foundation is weak, the entire structure falters. A living diet rich in nutrients is more than just nourishment. It is a way to infuse high-frequency energy into your cells. Pure water not only hydrates but also purifies and carries information. Restorative sleep allows your system to regenerate and reorganize its frequencies. And the elimination of toxins, whether physical or energetic, clears space for vital energy to flow unhindered. A debilitated physical body is like a poorly tuned instrument, unable to produce the melody you truly wish for. It is crucial to honor this sacred vessel. The second portal is the forge of your intentions, the architect of your reality, the mind. Your thoughts are not just products of your consciousness. They are emitters of waves, sculptors of your energetic field. Each thought you have, each belief you hold, sends a signal into the universe. The unconscious mind, as we have previously explained, is filled with ancient programming. The work here is mental alchemy, turning the lead of negativity into the gold of constructive thoughts. This is not about denying reality, but choosing where to focus your energy. Reprogramming the mind is not a one-time event. It is a daily, conscious, and deliberate process. It involves cultivating thoughts of gratitude, possibility, and love. It means questioning those internal voices that insist on repeating the limitations of the past. The practice of meditation, visualization, and conscious affirmations, not as empty rituals, but as tools to align your mental frequency with the reality you wish to manifest. Remember, the universe does not respond to, "I do not want." It responds to the image and the emotion you carry. If you constantly think about disease, you nourish it. If you think about health, you foster it. The third portal, and perhaps one of the most challenging, is your relationships. We are social creatures, and our interactions are fields of energetic exchange. You are, in a way, the average of the 5 people you most associate with. Your frequencies intertwine. Surrounding yourself with frequencies of support, with people who vibrate in the same expansion and growth, is vital. Thoth teaches us the importance of fraternity, unity of purpose. At the same time, certain connections can be true energy drains. People who live in victimhood, constant criticism, and negativity act as energetic vampires, subtly draining your vitality and, more importantly, lowering your frequency. It is an act of self-love and hermetic wisdom to recognize which relationships lift you up and which bring you down. This is not about judgment, but about alchemical discernment. You have the right and the responsibility to protect your energetic field. Sometimes, The greatest act of healing is to detach yourself from sources of energetic contamination. If you made it this far, comment, "From today on, I will protect my energetic field." And last but not least, the fourth portal, the one that brings meaning and direction to your journey, your purpose. When you are aligned with your true life purpose, you vibrate in expansion, not contraction. You become a channel for greater energy, for the greater good. Living without purpose is like a boat adrift, without a sail, subject to all the waves. And drifting generates inertia. It generates stagnation, which is a low frequency. When you find your why, the greater reason for your existence, you become a lighthouse. Your energy increases, your creativity flourishes, and your resilience strengthens. You contribute to collective harmony, and in doing so, nourish your own. The purpose doesn't need to be grand or public. It can be creating art, taking care of a family, spreading ideas, helping a neighbor. The important thing is that it resonates with your soul, that it makes you vibrate with service, with genuine happiness, with contribution. This is the true alchemy of existence, turning ordinary life into a living work of art. We have traversed the portals of the body, the mind, relationships, and purpose. But there is an internal compass, a silent voice that guides us at each step of this alchemical journey, our intuition. Our body, in its innate wisdom, constantly emits subtle signals. That strange feeling in the stomach before a bad decision, the shiver when something is out of place, a yes or no that resonates within, even without words. This is the voice of your soul, your higher self, trying to warn you, guide you toward coherence. The problem is that, in the rush of daily life, amid the noise of the external world, we have been taught to silence this voice, to ignore these signals. And what happens when we repeatedly ignore intuition? The body, our faithful messenger, is forced to raise its voice. A subtle discomfort becomes persistent pain. A feeling of fatigue turns into chronic exhaustion. Those small collapses in our lives, whether financial, emotional, or physical, are, in reality, the universe shaking us, calling our attention to the inconsistency between what we feel, what we think, and what we do. True healing, the inner alchemy we talk about, is not a magic pill. It is a process of realignment. It involves integrating everything we've discussed: body, mind, relationships, and purpose, turning them into a single, harmoniously vibrating whole. It's about pursuing vibrational coherence. This state, known in some traditions as cardiac coherence, is the point where your emotions, thoughts, and deep beliefs are perfectly aligned. There's no internal conflict. There's no dissonance. Your heart, your brain, and your energetic field vibrate at the same frequency. And when that happens, something magical occurs. Your energetic field strengthens exponentially. Your immunity increases. Your mind clears. You become a magnet, not for problems, but for solutions. The energy of self-healing, which is inherent in each of us, is fully activated. The body, which previously manifested disharmony, now becomes a mirror of your new internal symphony. Tools and techniques, like meditation, yoga, energy healing, conscious diet, are powerful aids. They're like ingredients in the alchemist's crucible. But the definitive key, the flame that truly operates transformation, lies much deeper, in your ability to transform your most deep-rooted beliefs about yourself and the world. You are not condemned by your past programming. It was just the starting point. Like a true alchemist of life, you have the power to rewrite your code, to fine-tune your melody, and to create a new vibrational reality. The first step, as in all great endeavors, is self-knowledge. Dive in, feel, listen, transmute. If you felt a calling, if something resonates within you today, it's a sign. Your intuition is calling you toward your own great work. Do not ignore it. The time for your vibrational self-healing is now. We have come to the end of another journey, dear seekers of the truth. We have dived into the depths of Thoth's wisdom, unveiling the veil that covers our true healing ability. I've shared with you not just concepts, but a map, a guide for the transmutation of your own reality. This knowledge, the very knowledge that drove the great alchemists and hermetists of history, is not something you find just anywhere. It's a gift. It's a responsibility. And it's the key for you to take control of your own vibrational destiny. If the words that echoed here today kindled a flame within you, if they made sense, if you felt a deep resonance, I invite you to perform a simple yet powerful act of reciprocation. Drop a like on this video. It's your vote of confidence, your recognition that this knowledge is valuable and should reach more hearts and minds. Share it with those you care about, with those you know are also searching for this truth, for freedom from their own struggles, for their own vibrational liberation. And, of course, if you're not yet a member of our community of alchemists and hermetists, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. This way, you'll be notified every time a new piece of this millenary wisdom is revealed. Together, we'll continue this great work of turning the lead of ignorance into the gold of consciousness. Believe it, your healing, your transformation, is just beginning. Honor it, practice it, and watch your reality transform, in perfect coherence with the symphony you choose to play. My name is Noah, and this was my contribution.